Welcome to In Focus on this Sunday, October 12th, 2025. I'm Cheryl Wills. Early voting now just 2 weeks away, and New Yorkers will choose the next mayor, controller, and public advocate. And the housing crisis also on the ballot. There are 3 key proposals that you need to know about, from fast-tracking affordable housing to simplifying the review of infrastructure projects and establishing an affordable housing appeals board. Our guests on this Sunday, Queens State Senator James Sanders, why he says New Yorkers need to do their homework before voting on the proposals. We also talk with the leaders of 2 prominent women's voting rights groups about what's at stake this election season. All that and more in a moment, but first, let's take a closer look at the housing crisis here in New York City and what the next mayor is up against. Here's Kelly Mena.
Without communities' voices and power in development decisions, our neighborhoods will get less truly affordable housing.
Local lawmakers say a set of housing proposals set to be on the November ballot are putting at risk the future of community-based housing development in the city. At the heart of the conflict, a set of questions aimed at changing the decades-old land use process.
Mayor Adams' misleading ballot proposals are trying to trick voters into giving away their power by claiming to be about housing. It's not about housing. They're using misleading language that claims they are a solution to the housing crisis when, in fact, they take away your power to get more affordable housing to developers and unelected appointees chosen by the mayor.
Currently, council members get final approval on new housing development in the city, but under new proposals 2, 3, and 4, they would lose that power. Instead, the final say for certain housing projects would lie with the city's planning commission or a newly created review board consisting of the mayor, borough president, and council speaker. City Council zoning chair Kevin Riley.
Yes, we know we have to build housing, but what about investing in our schools? What about investing in our parks, the streets, the roads? What about adding economic opportunity? This gives us the opportunity to negotiate with those coming in our community.
But supporters of the ballot proposals say the current process is burdensome, with projects taking an average of over 2 years to complete.
We've had multiple iterations of the council over decades that have completely failed to act on housing, in no small part because we have this system where the most small-minded voices can weaponize the system to block this housing that we so desperately need.
2 candidates for mayor have weighed in on the issue, with GOP nominee Curtis Lewa against the proposals, Andrew Cuomo for them. Democratic nominee Zohran Mamdani is uncommitted. Council members have started passing out palm cards in an effort to defeat the questions, raising concerns that the council is telling New Yorkers how to vote, which is illegal. Former Conflicts of Interest Board Chair Richard Riffall.
The law doesn't actually say urge, it says designed to urge. And so you could argue that these actually have crossed the line. So I'll stick with the gray area. It's not clear. They certainly designed them to bump up against the line without crossing it.
Ultimately, local lawmakers argue the current system works and the changes will cut out local needs.
Ballot proposals 2, 3, and 4 are a threat to our communities getting what they deserve.
That's Kelly Mena reporting for us on this Sunday. Let's begin today's conversation with Queens State Senator James Sanders. And Senator, I want to take these ballot proposals one by one, some of which you consider controversial. But first, let's set the table about the housing crisis in your district. You represent the 10th senatorial district, right, which includes Southeast Queens, the Rockaways, Rochdale Village. And there is a construction boom in the Rockaways. But tell us how much of that is for affordable housing.
Well, it depends on, it's good to be on your show, first things first. It depends on what you call affordable housing. There is a thing called the area median income, and it's skewed by bringing in Nassau County, Suffolk County, and other richer areas, Westchester's. So it's really not affordable to the people of New York. But using that as a criteria, much of this is not really affordable to the people of New York. There lies a problem that's trying to be addressed by these this movement with the resolutions, the voting election resolutions.
Right, and the ballot proposals, right, is what you're talking about. So
Yes, the ballot proposal.
Yeah, so let's take them one by one. First, the fast tracking affordable housing. Give us the backstory on that proposal and what it means for New Yorkers who vote for or against it, because you're warning people to do their homework, right?
Absolutely. The problem is that every community has not done a fair job on the issue of affordable housing. Some communities have frozen the city out, and there's little, if any, affordable housing in their communities. This is leading to the oversaturation of affordable housing put in certain areas. So there's an attempt to bypass the city council here, and that is the gist of this problem.
Right, and so, and you know, interestingly, we showed a report from Kelly Mena where the city council speaker called it misleading. So let's talk about the next proposal to simplify the review of modest housing and infrastructure projects. Read the fine print on that for us.
Well, it certainly sounds good, but sometimes words hide meaning, and then this may be hidden here. It depends on what do you mean by simplification? Who's doing the simplification? Is there a process that certainly needs to be made more transparent and simpler? Absolutely. All sides will say that. Is this the solution to that? That's a different question.
Yeah, that is the question. And explain the last housing proposal, which would or would not establish an affordable housing appeals board. Why would that even be necessary?
The city is trying to say, okay, even if the city council gives it a no, says that this is not the way to go, we need to have an appeals process where we can get a second opinion here. Should there be a second opinion? Perhaps, but if there is, it should be a second opinion that is also agreed upon by the city council, that both sides need to come to an understanding. In the best of all worlds, both of these groups will come together and say, look, it is true that we cannot solve the housing problem with the tools that we have. So therefore, we need something new. And what this new thing is, both sides need to agree to. And that's not what's happening here. One side is saying, we'll solve it this way. And the other side is saying, we don't need to solve it.
Right. And Senator, you know, you're a veteran politician. You've been around a long time, more than 30 years in city and state government. Why is it so difficult to get enough affordable and supportive housing in New York City? Every administration deals with this, and every administration seems to have a tough time.
Part of the problem, of course, is the question of NIMBY, not in my backyard, where many communities are saying, oh, sure, solve this problem, but I don't want any part of it. And you have to break through that. Another part of it is truly figuring out what is affordable housing, affordable to who. We need to make a process where it's affordable to the people of New York City, not simply to the whole area. Mayor Bloomberg and others were actually exploring this. I actually had a bill at the city council more than 20 years ago to simplify it and make sure that it would happen. Then, of course, there has to be enough money put here. We live in a built up city. There's no empty space anymore. You have to take something down to put something up. That's going to be expensive as it is. Those are some of the main reasons why we're having trouble putting affordable housing. It's a question of will, it's a question of vision, and it's a question of wealth.
Okay, well said. Queens State Senator James Sander, appreciate your time. Still to come on In Focus, a celebration in the Bronx, more than 100 new units of affordable and supportive housing. Find out how Project Renewal got the job done right after this. Thanks for staying with us as we talk about the housing crisis. We're joined now by Eric Rosenbaum, CEO of Project Renewal. That's a nonprofit which focuses on housing and social services. Mr. Rosenbaum, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
You know, a few days ago, Project Renewal had a big celebration.
Sure did.
More than 100 units of supportive housing in Bedford Park in the Bronx. Tell us more about this complex.
So 10 years ago, 2015, we acquired this site in the Bronx. And as many people know, there's a lot of rock in the Bronx. It makes it difficult to build there. We acquired that site. We have 2 buildings. The first one opened about 3 years ago, and that has 117 units in it. And this building just officially opened, had the ribbon cutting on Wednesday. And it's 116 units. 70 are reserved for people who have histories of chronic homelessness, mental illness.
That's known as supportive housing.
Exactly. And the remainder are community affordable units. The project is almost completely leased up, and it includes incredible services. There's a health clinic that's providing primary care and pediatrics. There's an incredible Molly B. Chronic library and learning center for kids and adults to come together and learn. It's part of a larger complex that has a rooftop greenhouse where residents come together across the generations to grow their own food, and there's fish tanks that circulate water through.
All the amenities.
It's an amazing.
That's awesome. But here's the thing. Why did it take 10 years to build this?
Unfortunately, it takes a really long time to build supported and affordable housing in New York City.
Why?
And this building is as of right, so it didn't have an exceptional zoning process to go through. First of all, you have to acquire the site and put together the financing package. This project has financing from the city, from the state, from private philanthropy. Different subsidies come together. It takes probably a year to a couple of years just to organize all of that and get it together. But then, since the capital is limited, you're in a line, right, and you have to wait till you get to the front of the line before the project can start. Wow. In this particular case, the pandemic caused a major disruption in supply chain. Prices went up. That caused the need to rejigger some of this. And then there is the construction process itself. But this is, the project is $72 million for 116 units. If we could have built this in half the time, think about how much less expensive it would have been. And also, given that so many of the people who live here are coming from shelter, what did the city have to spend to shelter those people for the 5 years extra that it needed to take to put this building up?
Right, and that explains why it is so difficult to build affordable housing in New York City. What do you want the next mayor to know about this crisis?
Well, first of all, when the average New Yorker thinks about the homeless crisis, they're probably thinking about people they see every day on the streets and in the subways who are probably suffering from mental illness or substance use disorders. But that is the tip of the crisis in New York City. There are 100,000 or more students who are missing more school than they make and shifting from school to school because their parents don't have affordable housing. The city's spending $3 billion a year on shelter and on housing vouchers to try and narrow the gap for people who can't afford housing. An incredible number of people are working full-time jobs with benefits and living in shelter.
They still can't afford it.
And still can't afford an apartment.
So what's the answer as someone who's given so much of his service to this issue?
I think the answer is we have to build more housing faster.
Right.
Now, how we do that, lots of different things, some big and some small. The City of Yes contained a lot of really good ideas, none of which in and of themselves were dramatically huge, but each one was trying to unlock a piece of the puzzle. Zoning issues are big, property taxes are big, but also there are vacant units that we could fill faster. There are repairs on units that are deferred because we don't have money. We could repair those units faster than we could build new units.
But quickly, I have 30 seconds. What do you make of the proposals on the back of the ballot, those 3 proposals?
Again, I think we have to, if we really believe this is a crisis, then our decision-making has to be tipped towards what will make housing get built faster. And anything that does that has to be first priority. And I think these proposals are really focused on that and deserve serious consideration for that reason alone.
Okay, we appreciate you coming in. And again, congrats on that major project in
Thank you very
the
much.
Bedford Park section of the Bronx. May we see many more, right?
May we indeed.
Exactly. Eric Rosenbaum, CEO of Project Renewal, thanks for your time. In Focus continues right after this. Hey, thanks for staying with us. Joining us now is Sharon Sewell-Fairman, President and CEO of Women Creating Change, and she's joined by Kai Rosenthal, co-president of the League of Women Voters of the City of New York. Ladies, thanks for being here. Kai, I want to start with you. This entire show, we've been talking about the housing proposals on the back of the ballot. What do you want voters to know?
Well, thank you first. Thank you for having us, and it's great to be here with Sharon. And I just want to let you know that the League of Women Voters, we're nonpartisan. So we don't support candidates or political parties, but what we do is take positions on issues if we have an issue covering it. So we studied the New York City ballot proposals, the 5 New York City ballot proposals, and we're supporting 4 out of the 5. So this New York City League has always been supportive of government policies that will expand affordable housing and make affordable housing more accessible, as well as we are supporting increased density. So we're supporting ballot question number 2 and number 3 and number 5 and number 6, and we're supporting it with a yes vote. We provide pros and cons for ballot proposal number 1 and number 4.
Right, and Sharon, there are lots of pros and cons to this, especially when it comes to housing, because so many women and their families are being priced out of New York City.
Yes, affordable housing is a challenge. And last year we did research on women in the workforce, and a high majority of women, especially women of color, are in low-wage care work. And so affordable housing is very, very important to them to be able to afford, just to be able to live in New York City.
That's absolutely true. And Kai, tell us about the League's research into voting behavior among women. It's very high. It skews high, right?
It does. I think Sharon, her study probably has more information, but we know that more women turn out to vote versus men. Right. And women of color turn out in very high numbers.
Right, and I want you to build on that because that was your organization's research.
Sure, thank you for that question. Yeah. So yes, our research on civic engagement showed that overall, women compared to men turn out at higher rates to vote. As a matter of fact, it's consistently 2 to 5% percentage points higher than men. And also, the research showed that Black women tend to vote at a higher rate of any group. And then also, among all the groups, Latino women and Asian women vote at a lower rate. And lastly, of course, women with higher income have higher turnout, which suggests that women who make lower wages have challenges and faces barriers to getting to the polls.
And Kai, you know, I had 2 women's groups last week, and they expressed how the stakes are so high for all women this election season. Your thoughts on that?
I think the local elections, a lot of people don't vote in local elections. The last one in 2021, there was only just over 23% turnout. So we always say at the league to definitely vote local. So many decisions about your day-to-day life are made from your local elected officials. So we believe that it's critical for women to turn out, as well as men and others to turn out. We are all about everyone turning out to vote. And I think, as you know, there isn't a registration problem in New York City. We have almost 90% registered voters, of eligible voters. It's a turnout problem. So that's really our goal this election, is to turn out more voters.
The league has been so instrumental in trying to get women especially out to vote, right?
Absolutely. We try to get women, we try to get young people. We recommend that everyone have a voting action plan so that you know when to vote, how to vote, where to vote, and then what's on your ballot.
Okay. Kai Rosenthal, co-president of the League of Women Voters of New York City, and Sharon Sewell-Fairman, president and CEO of Women Creating Change. Thank you both for being here.
Thank you for having us.
And now, our final focus, a quick programming note. New York One will host the second and final mayoral debate on Wednesday, October 22nd at 7 p.m. Our political anchor, Errol Lewis, will be one of the moderators, with leading candidates Zohran Mamdani, Andrew Cuomo, and Curtis Sliwa. Plus, a reminder, for the remainder of this month, we're inviting mayoral candidates to join us in studio as we count down to early voting, which begins on October 25th. By the way, Election Day is November 4th. Hey, thanks so much for watching In Focus. I'm Cheryl Wills. We appreciate you spending your Sunday with us. Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. To keep up with important issues impacting our communities and hear more conversations with the people who are shaping the future, subscribe to our channel. You can also download our app or find Spectrum News on your TV for balanced, in-depth political coverage and more. We'll see you there.